What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We've got another NFL Sunday. I'm going to give you guys 2 free teasers as well as 2 free prize pick slips. So make sure you guys stick around to the end to get all these picks, and I'll see y'all in just a second. All right, guys, so before we do anything, you guys know the drill. We have to pick a winner from our yesterday's college football video to win a free month of VIP. If you're new to the channel, I do this in every single video. If this video gets 250 likes, I will pick a random comment down below to win a free month of VIP. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button, drop a comment, and let's go ahead and pick our winner from yesterday. And then I have to give you guys some... We got to talk about the picks yesterday. So, winner's going to be for Alex SB909, who said, yeah. Well, Alex, send me a message on Discord. I will get you added for that free month, my man. And I appreciate the love and support from every single one of you guys. So, talking about what I was about to say. Yesterday's free pick sucked. Straight up. I know when I take an L, and I'll let you guys know when I take an L. Prizepicks, I got murdered on. Prizepicks, I pretty much donated to today. It's one of the worst, or the worst college football slate that I've had on Prizepicks yet. That being said, we made up for it with teasers. The teasers or the sportsbook bets, whatever you want to call them, made up for any losses we had on player props. Underdog and sleeper are not looking bad on player props. It was specifically Prizepicks. So if you're in the Discord and you tell only Prizepicks, I want to give it an apology because I know that we missed a lot of slips on Prizepicks. We had some unlucky things like Sorsby. Cincinnati ended up beating Iowa State pretty bad. It wasn't as competitive as I thought. They ran all over them, had over almost 200 rushing yards in that game, maybe more than that. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember exactly. But Sorsby didn't have to throw the ball that much. He hooked us by like 12 yards or 20 yards, something like that. It was very, very close. Then we had Maddox-Madsen. Madsen ended up throwing 4 interceptions, chalking our fantasy by like 2 points. So he ended up with like 12, almost 13 with 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions is -4 fantasy. So he cashed 100%. And you got to also see that every time he threw a pick, or almost every, I think 3 of the 4 picks were like at like the 30-yard line or closer to the end zone. So they were about to score 1 passing touchdown, and he cashed easily. So just unlucky, unfortunate events on those Prizepick slips. And I do apologize, guys. I know there's nothing I can do about it, but that being said, some of our teasers we cashed. We cashed Arizona and Vanderbilt. This one cashed. I won $1,200 on this slip. Then I won $1,200 on this slip as well. Pittsburgh and Wake Forest. We have a couple more that's cashed. They just haven't paid out yet, so I don't have the slips copied and pasted, or copied or saved, or whatever you want to call it. So hopefully the rest of the night goes well, and hopefully our NFL slate goes well tomorrow. If you guys do want to get all of our plays, or if you want to join our free Discord, link to the Discord is down in the description. It's 100% free to join. If you guys want to be a part of the VIP group, it's either $10 a week or $25 per month. You guys can join through the WAP link. Just connect your Discord to WAP, and it'll give you access as soon as you pay. You get every single pick that I post. That being said, guys, I would love to have you guys in the free community. I'm going to give you guys a free 4-leg kicker slip for tomorrow. I might throw in some PATs in this one, so some field goals and some PATs. Maybe we'll do a punt slip I get for free or something too, just for fun, if you guys want to tell that. But it'll all be in the Discord exclusive picks if you guys aren't in there already. That being said, let's talk about these games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the games I have free teasers for. So there's going to be 4 games. I'm not touching the totals on some of these games because totals bit me in the butt last week and was the reason that a lot of my slips, or I'm not going to say a lot of my slips missed, but the ones that did missed because of totals other than the Chargers or the Rams, whichever one it was that chalked me. But that being said, guys, let's talk about the first game. So the first game that I'm going to be talking about is going to be Minnesota taking on the Browns. So this game is going to be in London. This is not a home game for Cleveland. Cleveland are plus 178 underdogs. They are going to be starting Dylan Gabriel in this game. So no more Flacco. Maybe Shador Sanders plays some. If Dylan Gabriel doesn't do well, we'll see. Cleveland is plus 3.5 on the spread, and the total in this game is sitting at 35.5. This is a very, very low scoring total. Why? Because both offenses are dog water. I can't believe I said just dog water. Anyways, both offenses freaking suck. We got Wentz versus Dylan Gabriel. We don't know how this rookie quarterback's going to do. I think Gabriel's going to have some success. I'm going to throw that out there. I like Cleveland tonight, especially for a teaser. Public betting right now, 65% of the money's on the Browns. 83% of the money on the Browns plus 3.5. and then 72% of the money on the under 35.5, which is tough. I know this is defensive, guys. Both teams have okay defenses and weak offenses, so I can understand the total, like taking an under like 35. I see the vision there, but do you guys know how low 35.5 is, man? 3 touchdowns and then 2 touchdowns, and you pretty much chalk. Like, if one team scores twice and the other scores 3 times, you pretty much chalk. Now, I know that's a lot for these two teams, and if you look at them so far, they haven't been putting up big numbers, especially the Browns. The Browns can barely move the ball. Their highest scoring game so far this season is 17 points. So, and that's against some weak defenses. Cincinnati, they scored 16, 17 versus Baltimore. They're going against Baltimore. They're going against, in my opinion, a decent defense in the Vikings. The Vikings haven't looked strong to me. They just lost 24-21 versus the Steelers. They lost versus the Falcons, and then they ended up beating Chicago in a very close game and ended up blowing out the Bengals. So that being said, guys, what I'm running for this teaser, I'm taking Cleveland plus 3.5. So I'm going to make this slip pop up on the screen. You're going to see Cleveland plus 10.5 on this teaser, and then you guys can see who I paired it with. I ended up pairing them with the Ravens plus 8. So let's talk about these two teams. Let's talk about the Browns right now versus Minnesota. So Minnesota right now averaging 294 yards per offense right now. It's 23rd ranked offense. If you look at the Browns have the number 1 ranked defense right now, giving up 222 yards per game. Browns defense has looked like they are those guys. Let's go ahead and talk about it. The Browns offense, on the other hand, they're averaging 280 yards per game on average, which is pretty low. They're going against the defense that's ranked 6th in the league right now, giving up 282 yards per game. Overall, the total in this game, if I had to take a teaser for it, I almost want to take over like 27.5 on this and buy it down by 8, because 27.5, 2 touchdowns from each team and you cash. But this game could end up being like a 7-13 game and have like a 20-point total. It really could. So punting on this one's probably going to be good. I think the punting lines on these props are like 4 and 5, so they're very high on the punter props. But I can see the vision on that as well. For me, I'm running Cleveland plus 10.5, a 7-point teaser on this, and you guys can see who I paired it with. So this is going to be our early game teaser. I'm going to give you guys an early game teaser as well as like a mid to late game teaser. So the early one we paired with the Ravens. We took the Ravens plus 8. It's 1.5 right now. If you get it on Novig, it looks like Baltimore is plus 113 underdogs at home versus the Texans, which is absolutely crazy. Yes, Cooper Rush is starting for the Ravens, but as a Dallas fan, I will say Cooper Rush didn't look that bad last season. I don't think Cooper Rush was that bad. I think with this Baltimore team, even with Cooper Rush, they're better than the Texans. I think plus money on Baltimore, they win. That's my personal opinion. You give them plus 8, they can lose by a touchdown and we still cash, and I'm going to play that every single time. The total in this game sitting at 40.5. Most of the money is on Baltimore in terms of the money line, 61% of the money. Then you got 49% of the money on them covering the spread plus 1.5. Total, you got 59% over 40.5. If you look at these two teams, you can look at the offense for the Texans. They're getting 290 yards per game on offense. And then the Ravens are giving up 407 yards per game on defense. So they are literally like ranked one of the worst defenses in the league right now in terms of yards per game allowed. They struggle. They're struggling against every single team. Just got beat by the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs are a good team, so that's not saying like anything negative versus Baltimore. But looking at their offense, Baltimore is getting 338 yards per game on offense, and they're going against a team that gives up 280.5 yards per game on defense. So defensively, the Texans are usually pretty dang good. We know the Texans' defense isn't horrendous. They just beat the Titans 26-0. Titans, I think, had some turnovers that game, so that obviously played a big part in the L that the Titans took. And if you look at the Chiefs beating the Ravens, ended up being 37-20, so they got pretty much pummeled on the road versus Kansas City. Right now, the Ravens 1-3, man. They're struggling. They got beat by the Buffaloes. They got beat by the Bills. They got beat by the Lions. Then they got beat by the Chiefs. Now, the 3 teams they lost are 3 teams that could win it all. Let's talk about it. The Chiefs always they've been going to the Super Bowl pretty much every year. Chiefs dealing with some injuries, so obviously the Chiefs haven't looked as good as they normally would. But Chiefs just pummeled the Ravens. Detroit is looking fabulous right now, man. They are electric on offense. Defense looking good. Detroit is a strong favorite for me right now. Then if you look at the Bills same way, man. The Bills are just dynamite so far this season. Houston, not so much. They're 1-3, and the teams they've lost to, the Jaguars, the Rams, the Tampa Bay and the Rams, not bad teams, but still, man, like you got to understand that that's not the caliber of team as the Bills, the Chiefs or the Lions. Their only win is versus Tennessee. And then if you look at the Ravens, their only win is versus the Cleveland. But they dropped 41 points on Cleveland with Lamar. So that's a lot of points. I think Derrick Henry's going to be fired up this game. They don't want to come get beat by the Texans. I don't think that the Ravens are going to start the season off 1-4. Think they get that win, and that's why I'm going to be locking them in on this teaser. So you guys have already seen the teaser. 150 to win 107. 107 is going to be the profit. So the total payout on this slip is going to be $257 if you guys do want to tell it. Jumping into the 4 o'clock and the 8 o'clock games, the 2 teams that I'm going to run. So this is 2 of them that I like a lot. Thought these are going to be some popular teams today, but we'll see. So the first one's going to be the Lions versus the Bengals. I'm taking the Lions. They are minus 488 favorites on the road versus Cincinnati. The spread on this game is sitting at 9.5, and the total is sitting at 49.5. If you look at the money or the public betting on this, 92% of the money on the Lions, obviously. 68% of the money on them covering the spread, and then 68% of the money on the over on this total. If you look at the Lions this season so far, they are 4-1. Their only loss was the first game versus Green Bay. Had pretty much 2 picks in that game. That game's a lot closer than it looks on in terms of scoring. They just dominated the Browns. They beat Baltimore, and then they ended up beating the Bears 52-21. They have looked freaking strong as of lately. If you look at the Bengals, on the other hand, just got blown out by the Broncos. They got blown out by Minnesota. Minnesota is a weak team to me this year. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm not a Minnesota hater. I thought the Vikings were going to be pretty decent coming into the season, but they have let me down, and I'm not impressed with how they looked. And they just beat the Bengals 48-10. Obviously a lot of turnovers in that game. That score is a little bit. You got to take it with a grain of salt as well. But to me, the Bengals without Joe Burrow, they don't have a chance to beat the Lions. It doesn't matter if it's at home, on the road, whatever. So that being said, I'm going to be taking the Lions minus 2.5 for the teaser. I was going to pull this up, but it really doesn't matter, man. Bengals, one of the worst defenses in the league. Lions, one of the best offenses. Bengals offense is trash. Lions defense is pretty dang good. So there's not really, upsets can happen. And maybe this could be an upset if you want to play the Bengals plus 500, but to me, it's just not. There's not much of a chance there, and the Lions come in here and whoop up on the Bengals. But anyways, minus 2.5 on this, a 7-point teaser on this one is what I'm going to run with. So Detroit minus 2.5. I think that they win by at least a field goal. Who did I pair it with? Paired it with another strong favorite. I paired it with the Bills, man. The Bills playing at home versus the Patriots. They're minus 381 favorites. They're minus 7.5 on the spread, and the total on this game sitting at 48.5. 77% of the money on the Bills, obviously. 79% of the money on the Patriots, getting plus 7.5, and then 87% of the money's on the under on this total. So a lot of people have this total going way under 48. So you could take the under on this total if you wanted to buy it to 55. You could do that as well, which is a very high scoring game if you want to take the under on that. Bills 4-0 to start the season. They beat Miami. They beat the Saints. They beat the Jets, and they beat the Ravens. So looking at this, man, they don't have a very strong resume on paper about the teams they beat. The Jets aren't that good. They killed them 30-10. Miami obviously was supposed to be pretty good, but they've struggled to start the season. They're looking a little bit better now. The first couple of games they were weak. They beat Miami 31-21, and they just beat the Saints 31-19. But this game in the first half actually looked really close. On the other side of things, Patriots just whooped Carolina 42-13. They lost to the Steelers by a touchdown the game before that. They barely beat Miami the game before that. And then the opening game of the season, they lost by a touchdown to the Raiders. So Patriots not looking super strong to me either. We can look at offenses and defense for these as well. New England's offense is averaging 336 yards per game on offense, going against a team that gives up 290 yards per game on defense. And yes, I'm looking at yards. You can look at all these stats if you want to look at them yourself. You can just read them. Pass yards, rush yards. If you want to look for props, things like this might help you. You can look at points per game scored. They're averaging 25.5 points per game. The Bills are giving up 22.5 points per game. On the other side of things, you got one of the best offenses in the league playing against a mid-tier defense. Defensively, the Patriots are always okay. They're not elite by any means. The Bills probably won't have very much trouble moving the ball down the field, but who knows what happens there. But to me, I'm going to be taking the Bills. It's minus 7 on the 7-point teaser, so the Bills would end up being minus 0.5. So it's pretty much Bills money line with Detroit minus 2.5. Slips on the screen, another $150 slip to win $107 profit, another $257 payout. So this is going to be $300 to potentially profit $514. So you're profiting $214 if you cash both these slips. I think it cashes. I like both of these a ton, and hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. That being said, let's go ahead and jump in to some player props, guys. So I got 4 player props I like. I got 2 Prizepicks slips that I'm going to give you guys for free. And if we can lock them in live on Parlay Play, we will do so. That being said, let's talk about the first one. The first one I'm going to be a punt prop. We're going to get the punt prop over with because I've been killing the punt props and I'm going to continue playing them. So this one's going to be for our man Tress Way. I played Tress Way as the first punt prop of the season for me. The first time I dabbled into these punt props, it was with our man Tress Way. I'm taking Tress Way over 3.5 punts. Same prop versus the Chargers. Chargers defense has been extremely strong so far. Tress Way's only been over this line in 2 of his 4 games on the season. So yes, this one looks a little bit sweaty. He only had 2 versus Atlanta, but Atlanta's defense is nothing spectacular. The Raiders defense, nothing spectacular. He had 4 versus Green Bay, and he had 5 versus New York. The Giants defense is nothing spectacular either. They're going against the Chargers, man. Chargers defense, pretty dang strong. The Commanders offense have been pretty mid. So to me, 4 punts is definitely doable. Most teams average 10 to 11 offensive possessions per game. I do not think that Washington's going to score more than 7 of those, whether it be going forward on 4th, a field goal, or a touchdown. So for me, it's 4 punts all day long. I love this line. Who am I going to pair it with? I'm going to pair it with Brandon Aubrey, and we're going to play with something a little bit different from Brandon Aubrey. I'm not taking his field goals. I'm taking his PATs. Let's talk about Dallas's offense lately. Dallas has been putting up big numbers. They just had a draw versus Green Bay in overtime. That was a crazy game. Brandon Aubrey should get 2 PATs. This gives us a 2.25x. $150 on this slip is going to win us $337, and I really, really like this slip. It's one of my favorite slips I could find. That's why I'm giving it to you guys for free. I know some people don't like these kicker props or punt props. Some of y'all, there's very few of you, but there's some of you that complain, why would you pick a kicker or a punt prop when you got all these passing yards and all these rushing yard plays? Because these cash. It's as simple as that. I'm trying to make you guys money. I don't care if it's a popular play, if it's a prop that most people don't trust. If you don't trust it, don't play it. That's totally up to you. I like this slip a lot. It could definitely chalk, but I like it a lot. I don't see the Jets stopping Dallas from scoring twice when Dallas just had how many points versus Green Bay? 5 PATs? Had 0 versus Chicago, but that game, man, Dallas there's too many turnovers, dude. Too many red zone fumbles and things like that. Game before that versus the Giants, 4. They had 2 touchdowns versus the Eagles. Like, Dallas can definitely do it. They can score versus the Jets, and I think they can score 2 TDs for our man Brandon Aubrey to get us 2 PATs to give us a nice little 2.25x if you want to play it. If you want to take Brandon Aubrey or a different PAT prop, you can do that. There's tons of PAT props on here for 2 touchdowns that look pretty good, like Riley Patterson here. I'm pretty sure Miami's going to score twice versus Patterson. This one's only a 2x, but things like that, man. I just went with Brandon Aubrey. I'm confident in Brandon Aubrey. I'm confident in this Dallas offense, and I like this play for a 2.25x. If you guys do want to tell it, you won't be able to lock this one in on Parlay Play because they do not have punt props. That being said, before we jump into the second slip, if you guys do want to get a free month of our VIP, you can sign up for any partnered app down in the description. Chalkboard, Sleeper, Parlay Play, Underdog, Novig, Better, and Dabble. Any of those 7 apps, you can get up to 7 full months for free. The 2 that I recommend right now is going to be either Parlay Play or Chalkboard. Why do I choose these 2? Because they give you free money. Chalkboard. If you sign up for Chalkboard using code Fantasy Aces, you don't even have to put a deposit in, and they give you $25 for free if you sign up with that code. Code Fantasy Aces on Chalkboard, free $25. Message me after you deposit or after you signed up, and I'll get you a free month of VIP as well. So you're getting $50 in value for free. All you got to do is download the app. You don't have to deposit. So that was a no-brainer. Parlay Play, on the other hand, they give you $5 for free if you sign up with our code. You do have to make a deposit on Parlay Play of $10 to get free VIP. But for $10, you get $15, or you'll have $25 to play in because they'll double your deposit and you get free VIP, another $50. So can't really complain about that either. But that being said, just let me know on Discord and I'll get you guys added. Jumping into the second slip of the day, it's going to be for our man Bo Nix. So Bo Nix is going to be the first passing yards prop I'm taking. I'm taking him for 214.5 passing yards playing against the Eagles. So Eagles are at home. Broncos have looked pretty decent as of lately. Let's take a look. I typed in Broncos. Let's take a look at our man Bo Nix. So Bo Nix, 215, kind of high the way he's been playing this season. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people probably won't like this. Bo Nix at 214.5. Let's change this line right here. He's cashed it 1 of 4 games on the season. He's averaging 215. He's had a 326-yard game versus the Bengals. Obviously, it's the Bengals. They suck defensively, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. Eagles are giving up 207 yards passing per game. I think the Broncos could upset the Eagles. If I had to pick if somebody held a gun to my head right now and said, pick one of these teams, I'm taking the Eagles for sure at home. But I think that the Broncos have a fighting chance, and I think Bo Nix is going to have a good game passing. I think this is going to be a game where they could be behind most of the game and maybe come back. So I think Bo Nix is going to have to continuously pass. If you look at him last season, he averaged 217. He had a good season last season. In theory, he should be better this season than he was last season. He struggled to start the season, but I'm expecting a little bit of an increase in passing yards. They're throwing the ball 55% of the time, so 55% pass rate, he should be able to give us 215. If you want to buy it down, you can. I'm going to play this at a normal line because I don't feel like playing a goblin on Bo Nix. I think if he throws for 200, he throws for 215. That's just my personal opinion. If you want to take him down to like 170 or something, obviously that one's going to be much safer. But at 199.5, I'd rather just have the 215 for a regular payout on this prop personally. So if we take this one on parlay play, Bo Nix, 215. Let's find it. It's a 1.8x, better payout on parlay play than it is on Prizepicks. Who are we going to pair it with? I'm pairing it. I'm giving you guys an option. I may run these two together. So I'm going for receptions. I love playing receptions on running backs for receptions. If I can find receptions on here. It's somewhere, man. Receiving targets. Where is receptions? There it is. All right. So I like taking these running backs that get a lot of receptions. I like buying it down by one and taking them. So I got two options here that you can take. The first one's going to be Jonathan Taylor over 1.5 receptions. This will give you a 2x. The second one I like is going to be Breece Hall over 2.5 receptions. Play these together. You got 2.75x. 150 wins you 412. I like this slip a lot. Do I recommend playing all three? No, I recommend picking one of these and playing it for the double up. But if you want to sprinkle some money on it, maybe if you want to buy Bo Nix down and play him safer, I do think both of these lines cash. And I'm technically giving you guys 5 props, even though 2 of them are going to be goblins right here. But Bo Nix, or Jonathan Taylor, let's take a look at him first. So we're taking the Colts running back for 2 receptions. Coming over here to REC, receptions, buy it to 1.5. Take a look at him this season. He has cashed it every game this season. He is averaging 3.5 targets. He just had 5 targets versus LA. He had 4 targets the game before that versus the Titans, 2 and 3 the games before that versus the Broncos and Miami. He is going against the Raiders. The Raiders give up 21.5 receiving yards per game to running back per game on average. That's receptions allowed, not receiving yards. That number threw me off for a minute, but it's receptions. To running backs, they're giving up 4 per game. Jonathan Taylor is going to get majority of options here, or majority of targets, especially on these little screen passes. I love this line for Jonathan Taylor, especially with Tyler Goodson out. I think this leads to even better workload for him and Taylor. And I like this play. If you come down here and look at overall receptions, Jonathan Taylor is getting 14 so far in the season, 12% of the receiving share. I like this chances for him to get 3. If you want, or get 2, I think 2 is a pretty low number. And if he gets 2 targets, I think he's going to catch both of them. It's hard to miss these little screen passes or to drop them. It happens sometimes, and it chalks us sometimes because of it. But majority of the time, they're going to catch them. And I trust Jonathan Taylor on this one. The second one we had was Breece Hall. You guys already saw Breece Hall. Breece Hall is one of those running backs who gets a lot of looks, man. He really does on especially these little small check passes or check down passes. So let's take a look at this versus the Dallas defense. Receptions, 2.5. He's cashed it in 2 of 4 games this season so far. He had 5 and 4 in his last 2 games versus Tampa Bay and versus Miami. 4.8 targets per game on average. He had 6 in his last 2 games. And he's going against Dallas, man. Dallas has one of the worst receptions allowed defenses, giving up 25 receptions per game. If you go to running back, they give up 6 receptions per game to running backs. If you come down here to Breece Hall, Breece Hall is the second most targeted person on his team, right behind Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's getting 36.5% of the target share. Breece Hall's getting 18%. Dude's going to get 4 or 5 targets, in my opinion, and I think he's going to catch most of them. I think he's going to give us at least 3. I don't have a favorite between those two. I like both of them about the same. That's why I'm giving you both. I'm going to let you guys make your own decision on it. If I had to pick, I'd probably take Breece Hall versus Dallas, but it's close, man. It's really, really close. But that's what I got for today, guys. Lock them in if you like them. Fade them if you don't. Let's go ahead and pull these up. Breece Hall. Reception should be on here. Can we get 2.5? We can. And then we're going to go Taylor. Jonathan Taylor. Receptions, 1.5. And this is going to be a 2.98x. So it's a 3x. So it's actually better value on parlay play by a good bit. So I'll put 250 on this to win 745. It is locked in right there for a 2.98x. So if you guys like these plays, make sure you gotta lock them in. If you don't like them, fade them. I say that 15 times a video, I know, but I want you guys to understand. If you don't like it, fade it, because if it misses, and I hear you guys, I knew he was gonna chalk, it like drives me crazy, man. I'm like, you shouldn't have played it then. Don't play it if you think it's gonna chalk. Enough of my TED Talk. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you guys have one of the most profitable Sunday of your lifetime. Hope you guys enjoy it with your family, enjoy the games, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But I'll see y'all in the next one, and hopefully you cash out.